Hey everybody, welcome to Maximum Libertarian right here on the YouTube. So if you haven't already, please go down below, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and what?
Smash that like button. Smash it.
Yeah, smash the like button, and then you can share this video with all your family and friends. And, follow us on Twitter at WeAreMaxLib. That would help us out a lot. All right, so I guess today's article that I wanted to speak about, that we should speak about, is the Nevada Democrats. The entire they all quit. The entire staff quit.
The implosion.
Yes, it was. And when the story here, this comes from the Intercept, and all these stories are linked below. But it talks about the Democratic Party. They had, I guess, on March 6th, they had their convention, and all the seats, leadership roles, were won by progressive Democrats. All but one were card-carrying, dues-paying members to the Democratic Socialists of America. Ladies and gentlemen, this was this reminds me of it's reversed from the Tea Party to Republicans, because the Tea Party allowed the Republicans to enter their world. This time the Democrats allowed the DSA to enter their world, and on both occasions they got taken over and were squashed like a bug. So let's go on down here on this article here real quick.
One thing I want to say is socialism doesn't work. It never has, and it never will.
Absolutely. But for what I would argue is, here in the United States, we do have a lot of democratic socialist ideas and programs in place right now that when we try to talk about removing them or having to restructure them, we get told that we want to kill grandma and take all of her money from her and, make the grandfather eat dog food. And, we don't care about the children. But let's go down here with this story. Judith Whitmer won the chair of the Nevada Democratic Party, and Alana Mounts said she sent her an email. She congratulated her, and then in the email she said, "I quit. So does everyone else. So does the consultants and staff, and we want our severance." Which I tell you right there, I didn't know they would be getting severance pay. For me. If only the Libertarian Party of Virginia would start giving severance pay so we could quit on them and they would have to give us a check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have too much work to do.
Yes. So let's keep on going down here. It talks about the progressive candidates. They were backed by the DSA. They took all 5 leadership roles. The establishment had already planned for this to happen, and they had moved, as you can see right there, they moved $450,000 out of the party's coffers into the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, because I guess they have a first-term senator, Catherine Cortez Masto, and they said, I guess she's vulnerable. So
why is it Cortez? It sounds like it's another person that's probably a DSA. I have to look that up, but Cortez seems to be an interesting name to go with socialism. AOC is that's part of her name.
Well, I wouldn't go so far to say that, because there's probably a lot of Cortezes out there.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird in the government to see that, but yeah, this is a total damnation of.
Well, they took over, and they were smart about doing this.
You know what they were doing?
What's that?
The DSA knows what they're doing. They're really good at getting these young college kids and these young people to believe in socialism. The unfortunate part is when you try to put some of these things into play, it's going to fail miserably, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt people.
Correct. But if you look right here, as you just said, when they got fired, though they were all expected to get fired anyway. Whitmer denies the claim, and so, but that's why they quit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But they said, well, we were going to get fired anyway. It's almost like an incoming sheriff, and he removes a lot of
I can literally say, if people want to read on why socialism won't work, I've got a few books for you. I've read United States of Socialism. It talks about how socialists are taking over. Another good one by Rand Paul actually is The Case Against Socialism. I'll give those books a little punt because they actually have some good stuff in there. If you want to understand socialism to defeat it, you should read up on it. And that's one thing you have to be smart. You can't say you hate socialism and don't understand it. You have to understand it to dislike it. And to do so is to read up on it and to understand why it doesn't work. I've watched documentaries, Stalin, anything from Stalin, from back Marx, the Marxist state that we're going towards. People are liking Marxism, which is really scary. And then you have, even within the Libertarian Party, you have the Libertarian Socialist Caucus, which is actually a caucus of the DSA, even though they say they're not. They absolutely are. So,
well, this all began back in 2015, and let's just talk about that real quick, because in 2016, as we all know, Hillary Clinton ran against Donald J. Trump, and the Harry Reid machine, as they call it in this story, they were backing Hillary. The DSA was backing Bernie Sanders.
Yep. Which Bernie's like their poster child.
True, he is. But he's been consistent about what he says. At least the one thing you can say about Bernie Sanders is, for the most part, not everything, but for the most part, he does stay pretty consistent with his backwards viewpoints. But
absolutely, I'm putting something up on that right now on Bernie Sanders. But yeah, absolutely, there's a big thing.
Right. And then then over the 4 years outside of the organizations, the DSA exploded because they've had the media working. You've had a lot of celebrities pushing socialism. And then you've also have politicians like the Democratic Party of Nevada that was probably seeing the DSA as someone that they could use and get that we can win. And once they get into office, we're going to control them. The problem is you can't control them. See, that's the problem that I have right now with a lot of politicians is they, instead of telling the people what they need to hear, they tell them what they want to hear. Harry Reid, who we just spoke about, the Harry Reid machine from Nevada, he talks in an interview, now that he's no longer in power, he says Medicaid for all would bankrupt the country.
Exactly.
So, but while he's in power, instead of saying that, he constantly pushes government-ran health care. And if it's Obamacare, which is destined to fail, it was never made to survive. It was destined to fail, so we can wind up with Medicaid or Medicare for all, and it's sad. It's sad. But for 4 years, the DSA did a bang-up job. They recruited individuals. They went after, as you can see, over the next 4 years, they went to people like who were young Latino voters in the state, people that the Democrats were ignoring. So now they've got all of this group. And see, a lot of the young Latinos, I'll put money on, were they probably grew up here, so they're Americans. They get to see all the good stuff in America has. Their parents or grandparents who came from the bad countries that they were going, hey, we need to go to somewhere where we can better our life. They're, because as Caesar talks about down there in Cuba, when people jumped over into Florida, they were Republican because they did not like the government-ran health care, or not government-ran health care, but just the way the government was. And they did not want to go back to that. So that's why a lot of the Cubans were Republicans down there in Florida.
Yep. So I put a piece up about what, the Bull Moose Progressive Party that Bernie Sanders is a part of. That's where this whole, and he's trying to form.
So we want to keep talking about that because the DSA, they do an excellent job in getting their stuff out, organizing. And if you look down here too, what they did, and they were real smart, they said that they kept the tensions between the two sides were during the election was kept to under a boil.
Yeah.
You had the let's see, the DSA and the Progressive were calling themselves the Nevada Democrats Progressive Slate. And then on the establishment side, they called themselves the Progressive Unity Slate. So see, what they were doing is they were trying to use the word of being progressive unity. We're all together.
And this all goes, believe it or not, this all goes back to when, you know, we're looking at our buddy Bernie Sanders. You know, he had something with the unity background, and became the Virginia Progressive Party, which was the Bull Moose situation, which there's somebody trying to do that in our state in Virginia, in the 9th District. But yeah, this is how this all progresses to socialism. Right. So it's just a hidden word for socialists.
So that's what it really is. And so in turn, when they walked away, the Democratic Socialists, but see, with the DSA was smart because they knew as soon as the election was over that the establishment was going to try to cut their throat. So instead of being there and having their throat cut, they were the ones doing the throat cutting. Where if you look back to 2009, you had the Republican, it was reversed. The Democrat, the Tea Party was standing there, and the established Republicans slit their throat real quick. And now you can see what they are. They're a shell of themselves. So now they look stupid when they walk around going, I'm a constitutional conservative. And it's like, well, who do you vote for? And they go, well, I voted for Donald Trump. And it's like, how's he a constitutional conservative? Or I vote for Mitt Romney. I vote for every big spending, gun grabbing Republican there is out there.
Yep.
But the ones that they really should look for, and I have my issues with Rand Paul or Justin Amash or Thomas Macy. I know I can find issues with them all. But here's these guys standing on saying, hey, let's follow the Constitution, and they get ran out of either they get ran out of their party or they get almost zero votes. Because let's say, be honest, Rand Paul hitting 2%, 3%, I believe it was, during the 2015, 2016, getting to the presidency. He was out real quick, Did you have that Bull Moose thing you want me to put up?
I'll put it down. Give me 1 second. I'll reshare it. Give me one.
So we can pull that up. But no, I think really I want to just congratulate the Nevada Democrats for allowing themselves to be taken over by the DSA.
Yep, just put it up.
All right. So
congratulations. You allowed yourself to be put out by the DSA. So yeah, it's the Bull Moose. It was created in '99. Bernie Sanders was a heavy part of this. But this is specifically to Vermont. But here's the sad part. Look at this. They actually have statewide offices, and the progressive platform. There's other places in the country that are trying to create this Bull Moose progressive party, and Virginia being one of them. So we have to be very careful about how they operate. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're in bed with the DSA. And the DSA has been just crappy. I mean, there's no actual DSA Facebook page in Roanoke, but there is so many people that are on other pages that are supplying DSA stuff. So there probably will be a Roanoke DSA if there is not already a Roanoke DSA. Richmond has one. Charlottesville has a chapter. I'm pretty sure Roanoke will be down pretty soon because of the progressiveness in the city and the socialists in the city. And the way it's going with certain individuals that are in House of Delegates that are pushing socialist policy. So,
I totally agree with you. I do, but I think everyone should. I think what people should learn from this is if you're. I think libertarians should definitely learn from this. Is I know we are having our time here in the state of Virginia, and we're having to reform and restructure, and make sure. But if you don't keep your eyes and ears open, and sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut and just listen to what's being said.
Use these,
And,
not this.
then you got to make sure that your party is being represented, because I tell you, if you looked at the John Kennedy Republican, or excuse me, the John Kennedy Democrat he could not get elected today in the Democratic Party for the nomination. As they say, Ronald Reagan could not have gotten the nomination from the Republicans. And even if you look at George H.W. Bush from that election, where him and Reagan are discussing immigration, and it's not trying to treat these individuals like animals, like, they're going to come here and steal our jobs. They're actually saying, hey, they're hardworking individuals with good family values and things of that nature. So they don't demonize them. But I think you can learn that you got to keep your eyes and ears open. You got to make sure, and don't let your party be taken over by especially someone who doesn't believe in what you are.
Absolutely.
And sadly, the Nevada Democrats allowed themselves to be taken there because they got in bed, and then in turn, all they cared about was victory. When you just put on blinders and say, you know what, I don't care about how we get there. I just want my team to win. When you play this team sport, you wind up with garbage. And that's why the Republicans, the Democrats are in the shape that they are in. And that's why the Libertarians need to rise up and show a better way.
Take advantage of this situation.
Absolutely, we should be taking advantage of this situation. But that's all I wanted to talk about today was the wonderful DSA taking over the entire Nevada Democrats, making the Democrats quit. Now you got a big mess on their hands out there. I think maybe it might hurt them in the end, because there's going to be Democrats that aren't going to be saying, hey, I'm not a Democratic Socialist.
Yep.
And but what they'll do is they'll wind up saying, the people that go out and vote will say, my team's got to win. And then individuals, instead of coming out and making a change, they're going to say, well, I only vote Democrat. But there's no Democrat that I like on there. So Absolutely. They're going to stay home. So do you have anything else to say, Dean?
Not at all. I think we've covered the DSA and how socialism does not work.
All right, and say them books again. Show them books. You got them sent back, right?
The Case Against Socialists.
And who's that written by? Rand
Paul. And the United States of Socialism. This is by Dinesh D'Souza, a New York Times selling best author.
He does the documentaries and things of that nature.
Yeah, this talks about why it's evil, who's behind it, how to stop it. And, some good books, just some stuff that, like I said, you have to understand socialism. You have to read and do your research. And that's how you beat socialism, and that's how you stop socialism. So
right. All right. So that's about it for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell. And what else do they do, Dean?
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button. And what else should they do with this video?
Share it.
Yeah,
share it all over the place. Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Instagram. Share it wherever you can share it. Wherever you want to share this son of a bitch, share it. Because it's going to get out there, and we're going to become bigger and better, and we're going to get this liberty message out to everybody.
And I'm telling you, this coming when the winter is over in spring and it starts heating up outside, I think we're going to start seeing some more other fires start brewing outside too. But that's a whole other subject.
Oh yeah,
I
can't wait for the 20th when I have that thing for Bedford. I think we're going to have a blast of a time. The weather looks good on the models. I'm fired up.
All right. So until next time, till tomorrow, I am Brian.
This is Dean.
That's Dean. And there we go. If he's running for House of Delegates, please make
shameless plug.
Yep. Go to his Facebook page at Davison for Delegate 2021. There's his Twitter account. Go to his website, make a little donation. That would help him out. And until next time, I'm Brian once again.
And I'm
That's
Dean.
Dean, and we will see you later.